Tonight, Downtown Family remembers 26-year-old Kauri Ayala, whose life was cut short last Wednesday after police say he was violently assaulted by a man at a mental health facility. Kauri's sisters tell us he was autistic and suffered with his mental health.
You know, we thought that he was going to go into a facility to get help, and instead we're having to get him cremated.
This past Tuesday, they say their brother had called 911 himself seeking treatment. The next day, just before 2 a.m., he was transferred from one facility to the Houston Behavioral Healthcare Hospital in Spring Branch. Just 10 hours later, though, Kauri's family says they were notified that he was found unresponsive, strangled, and beaten beyond recognition.
His murder took that away from us. Our last chance to physically see him and tell him that we love him, he took that away.
On Wednesday, police arresting 32-year-old Eric Bonito, who was later charged with murder. Prosecutors say Bonito was also in that facility and had been in a fight with someone else before he was moved into Kauri's room. Tonight.
On December 10th, 2023, in the 9800 block of West Belford, John Davis was sitting in the backseat of a car when he was shot. He remained hospitalized until February 22nd, 2024, when he passed away. Witnesses describe the suspect only as a black male wearing a gray hoodie in the backseat of a sedan. The Harris County Sheriff Office had the homicide of Christian Zelias Garcia listed as case number 240-209-268, but January through April 2024 has been removed and information is unavailable.
This was a scene at Bauman and Robmore Street. HPD detectives are saying the victim, Andrew Garza, and his uncle stopped here to fill up. Three men pulled up moments later, one of them putting a gun to Garza's head and demanding money. Garza's uncle, fearing for his nephew's safety, opening fire on the suspects, injuring one. Garza shot and killed by the suspect.
At approximately 5:08 p.m., Houston police officers responded to two robberies that occurred near each other with the same suspect description. Officers searched the surrounding area attempting to locate the suspect, who was said to be riding an electric scooter. A uniformed officer in an unmarked HPD vehicle located a man riding an electric scooter matching the suspect's description. The officer caught up to the man and told him to get down. The man, Ricardo Ivan Balboa Aguilar, fled on the scooter for a short distance to the 100 block of Eastwood Street. The officer exited the vehicle and gave chase on foot, ordering the suspect to get down. The suspect dropped the scooter and ran on foot, ignoring the officer's commands. Mr. Aguilar ran behind a tree and fired a gun at the officer. The officer returned fire, striking Mr. Aguilar, who then fled on foot. Mr. Aguilar collapsed in the street a short distance away. Officers rendered aid. He was pronounced deceased at the scene by the Houston Fire Department.
New this morning, the Harris County Sheriff's Office has charged a 25-year-old woman with murder. Authorities say this woman, Joy Kiera Keys, shot and killed 21-year-old Ashley Holmes on Doubletree Park Drive back on February 8th. Deputies initially said the two were involved in an altercation. Before that shooting, Keys has not yet been arrested.
Identified the shooter as Genesee Moreno, who sometimes used the alias Jeffrey Escalante. She had a documented criminal history, and police say she had known mental health problems.
Her 7-year-old son was shot during a gun battle with officers, and tonight, a woman who identified herself as the boy's grandmother posted that he took a bullet to the brain. Right now, he's fighting for his life.
Officials say Moreno used an AR-15 in the attack and acted alone. They say she got into the church after confronting a security guard and opened fire inside the hall.
Check leads to a horrible discovery. A woman killed and her 2-year-old son left to fend for himself.
And as our Pooja Lodia shows us, police believe the murder suspect died by suicide. Pooja's live in Huffman, where that investigation is going on today. Pooja?
Detectives, as we speak, are going door to door. They are speaking to neighbors and trying to figure out when and why this murder took place. Now, police say they first received a call at about 8:40 this morning for a welfare check. They were finally able to get inside the house around noon when a woman called 911 saying that her father had called her, admitting to killing his girlfriend and then driving away to Louisiana. Police say they opened the door and they found a gruesome scene. A woman dead and her 2-year-old son whimpering nearby. They say by then the suspect had died by suicide, shooting himself in the head when he got to Louisiana.
There was a wire toward the doorknob and it was attached to the banister of the staircase. So even if she was alive or trying, she wouldn't have been able to open the door from the inside. The child is in good condition. He's at the hospital, and we've notified some relatives that are going to come get him.
CPS has also been notified, so the process has already started to make sure that this 2-year-old boy is placed in a safe home. The medical examiner remains here on scene. So at this point, police have not identified yet the suspect or the victim. Reporting live in Huffman, Pooja Lodia, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Murder-suicide yesterday inside the leasing office of a West Chase area apartment complex. And we're learning also about one of the victims for the first time. Jason Miles, live from the West Chase Forest Apartments with more tonight. Jason?
Hey there, Lynn. Yes, some folks have been stopping by here all day long, some unaware of the tragedy that unfolded inside this building. The West Chase Forest Apartments office is temporarily closed as a single bouquet sits out front, a day after a manager was fatally shot in what police call a murder-suicide.
To find out this happened is horrible.
Former resident Liliana Sandoval is interested in leasing here again.
I lived here for 7 years, and we never had any of these issues, and the people here were always very welcoming and very nice.
The family of the manager who was killed identifies her as 56-year-old Lisa Blackburn of Santa Fe, Texas. They say she loved her job and managed properties for some 30 years, even throwing parties on her own dime for children. They say the breast cancer survivor also volunteered. This photo is from the Houston Food Bank. Blackburn leaves behind a husband, 2 children, and 4 granddaughters.
It's kind of tripping me out because, we just moved to this community.
According to witnesses, the shooter entered the leasing office here around 2:35 yesterday afternoon and kicked everyone out except Blackburn and a male colleague. They said he held them hostage before fatally shooting Blackburn and shooting her male colleague who survived. The shooter, say residents, may have been a disgruntled tenant who then shot and killed.
Murder-suicide.
Tanasia Bush was arguing with her boyfriend, Philip Hickman, when she stabbed him. He then shot her in self-defense. They were both transported to the hospital where Tanasia passed away. Philip was released from the hospital, but later found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound in his car.
Charged with the first-degree felony offense of murder.
17-year-old Leishan Blanks, appearing in court this afternoon, is now charged with murder. According to Houston police, he and a 16-year-old juvenile accomplice fired upon Goff's car at this West Houston intersection on February 23rd. The mother and 2 of her children, ages 13 and 3, heading home. Her 13-year-old told family she shielded him from the bullet.
Alyssa Arzu was shot and killed by her partner, Tatiana Whitfield, inside the home they shared. Neighbors reported hearing gunshots and later requested a wellness check, leading authorities to the discovery of the homicide. Whitfield died by suicide.
Houston police and others surrounded an industrial area ditch Tuesday morning following a disturbing discovery.
A passerby happened to see the deceased female in the ditch and immediately called 911.
The woman found with no obvious injuries also had no identification, but fingerprint analysis later revealed who she was, a woman featured in this missing person notice the same day she was found, 38-year-old Yadira Pina Castillo.
It's been very hard because she was a really good person.
Husband Laurent Silva Casiano agreed to briefly speak with me over the phone from his home in Las Vegas, where he says Pina Castillo also lived, although she would travel for work in the nightclub business, including to Houston.
A really good soul. She's a very family person.
Pina Castillo's case is featured on a Cuban community news site, which reports she had a 10-year-old son living with her mother in Cuba, Silva Casiano's stepson.
I don't think he knows because I don't think he's ready yet.
Pina Castillo's husband did not feel comfortable sharing too much as the investigation continues, and while her exact cause of death is still pending. But he says he cannot comprehend how she ended up on the side of a road.
I'm pretty sure they gotta figure it out what happened to her, who did something so evil with her.
And while Pina Castillo's death remains under investigation,
Vivian Wall's boyfriend, Commodore Richardson, strangled her in their home. Vivian was transported to a hospital where she passed away 3 days later. Richardson is charged with murder and remains in the county jail. These aren't just numbers. Each case represents a life lost and a family still searching for answers.